Hello dog lovers and YouTube dwellers. Welcome to my video. Guys, today's video is going to be a little different. I thought I'll share some knowledge of that I got through my experiences in dealing with breeders. And I think this would be quite universal, not just in India where I stay. I think pretty much all over the world, most people have similar experiences with breeders here. So I'm going to talk about breeders from whom you should never get a pup. You know, who are best avoided. Guys, this video is going to be long, so I'm going to be splitting it into two parts. So this is going to be part one, and there's going to be a part two. So there are many points, but I'm going to highlight about 8 points, and all of these are, you could say, are red flags. So if you see more than any of these or more than one of these with the dealer that you're with the breeder you're dealing with, well, it's better to stop dealing with that breeder and stop contacting that breeder and have any contact with the breeder at all, and then just move on and look for another one. So before I start, let's define a breeder in this context. What I mean by a breeder. So, or who is not a breeder? Let's put it that way. Well, any person who has a pet shop and sells a puppy is not a breeder, obviously. Any person who does not personally own the sire and the dam of the pup, but he's a trader. He trades in pups. He takes a puppy from the breeder and then he sells it. Sort of a middleman, you could say. He is not a breeder, obviously. And anyone who's got a dog, who's got a male dog, so he's got the sire of the pup, but not the dam of the pup, and he sort of got the puppy through because he mated his dog with the female of the breeder, or the person who's got the female, and he received a pup or two pups for that mating. Again, he's not a breeder. So these three guys or these three people are out. Now that those guys are out of the way, let's start. So when I got my my bully kutta puppy, and then I got my Cane Corso pup, it was quite an experience. It was extremely difficult to find a good breeder, an honest breeder, a knowledgeable breeder, a breeder who had the interest of the dogs he was breeding first in his mind, and then also had the interest, the best interests of the potential customer, the potential pet owner on his mind. And then, of course, obviously, he has to make a profit, and otherwise he will close down his business, right? And then, of course, he also had the best interest of his kennel in mind, but in that particular order. So the best interest of the dogs he's mating, the best interest of the potential customer or puppy owner or dog owner, the potential owner, and of course the best interest of his own kennel in terms of making money and to run the show, to keep it sustainable, so to speak. So sadly you would be hard pressed to find a breeder who follows these principles and in this order. Usually you would find a breeder who has the last point, the third point in his mind, which is the best interest of his kennel, and making sure he squeezes out as much profit as he or she can. And so those are the ones you would find most of the time. And you want to avoid such people. But how would you know who that is? Because with the advent of social media and all that, people have gotten very smart and very very clever. Their marketing skills have improved, because breeders are no longer just sitting in some corner and selling or whatever. They are active on social media. They're looking at what people want. So it's become a lot more dynamic, and a lot of breeders, unethical breeders, have gotten very clever and very very persuasive. So through my experiences, I've come up with these 8 points that I've selected, mainly. So there may be many other, but I would say these points, these red flags, these 8 red flags. Any one of these or more than one of these you find in a breeder, no matter how reputable a breeder is, or how well that breeder is recommended, I would personally stay away. So let's start. The first point: a breeder who does not respond to your queries properly. So there have been so many breeders I contacted, right? And so you would have to send multiple messages for them to respond, or they would respond if you ask them certain questions, some certain queries about the pedigree of the sire, the dam, the pup itself, and the health of the pup, and of course the sire and the dam and things like that. And if he owns both the sire and the dam, general information as such, that breeder would respond back with a couple of pics of the puppy and then keep silent, or would only respond with a couple of queries. So out of 10 queries, would respond to only 2 queries, and then get back to saying, well, are you really serious? You're asking me so many questions, That's a red flag right there. So if a breeder does not respond properly, or the breeder may initially respond, right, but then the moment he sees that you're asking too many questions and you really want a lot of data, then the breeder stops responding completely, even in that case. So that's a red flag right there. A breeder has to have a lot of a breeder who's truthful and who has all the data. Or even if he does not have the data, let's say he only owns the dam of the pup, he can say it, it's okay, but all he has to be is truthful about it, right? So they would try to hide, or if they don't have papers, say it, okay, you don't have papers of the dam, whatever, that's fine, or whatever it is, but you have to be truthful. But if they are not, avoid. Better to stay away, stop contact, and move on. Second type: a breeder who is hesitant to furnish details of the dog, pup, or will not furnish all the details asked for. Very similar to the first point, but you would have breeders who will respond to you. If the moment you send a query, they will immediately respond to you and all that. But then they will again, they won't furnish the details. For example, if you were to ask papers, they won't furnish the papers. You ask pedigree details, they won't furnish the pedigree details, or they would say later. Or if you ask for ask for pictures and video of the pup, particularly the video, because the video is very important, because then you see how the pup is moving, how the pup is interacting with the other pups in the litter, how it interacts with the other dogs. So these are. It is very important to see such videos to make a good judgment of how the pup's temperament is. So if a breeder hesitates to give out videos and photographs, makes silly excuses, things like that. So whatever details you ask for and the breeder hesitates, delays, does not get back to you immediately, or gives silly reasons, whatever that reason may be, saying sorry, I was traveling and I was unavailable, or I was too busy with something. How can you be busy if you're a breeder, right? I mean, that's your business. You have to be busy with this. You can't be busy with something else, right? So anyway, any such thing, better to stay away. Move on. Ditch it. That's a red flag right there. Third, a breeder who talks too much. Now, this may be a little surprising to you guys, right? But you know what? A breeder who has very little to offer is the one who would talk a lot. So you'll find a lot of smooth talkers, so to speak, and they have their own ways of talking, and they're very persuasive, and they talk a lot. They talk as if they know everything about everything, and they've got. I've got 20 years of experience. I've got 30 years of experience. That dog belonged to me, or that dog's this thing a progeny. I had a progeny, or that dog belonged to but that dog, or another very famous dog was the son or daughter of a dog I owned, or things like that, and generally just talking a lot, and basically smooth talking but very little to offer, right? So such breeders, avoid. They're talking so much because they don't have the right things to offer. So they have to fill that gap with something, right? So they fill it with all that bullshit that they talk about, basically to take you into confidence. That's the whole point. The point is that you trust them so much that you don't ask them any more questions, right? Whatever they have to offer you, you take it. That's a red flag. Any breeder who talks too much, avoid that breeder. All right. Fourth one, a breeder who boasts that he is the best in the business, or he has the best breeding stock in the business, etc., etc. I encountered one breeder like that. Oh, man, he was like, and even all over social media, this guy was like, mine is this dog, mine is that dog, my dogs have the best standard, or and putting down the other breeder. That breeder is he's a fraud, and this guy is a fraud, and this, things like just boasting about his dogs, on and on and on and on and on. Now, this breeder may have good dogs. I'm not saying that he may not have good dogs. Possible, he may have good dogs, but you cannot get a dog from such breeders who boast a lot, because you can't trust them. And what happens is in their what are they boasting about? That they would have gotten a couple of dogs from Europe or from abroad. They would have imported dogs, and so somebody else bred those dogs, and they import these dogs, and then they start boasting about such dogs. And obviously, when you have such dogs and you have the progeny, the pups from such dogs, of course they are the result of somebody else's hard work. But then you own it now and you talk about it, right? But then how long is it going to last? Sooner or later, he'll have to have his own breeding program going from the pups he retains as breeding stock. Now that's when it'll start showing up. Problems start showing up. Or you could also, when somebody is so full of it, so to say, right? Then they start ignoring certain problems. They start accepting problems with their dogs. That can happen. So whatever it is, there are a myriad of problems that can be associated with it, that eventually will not only affect them but will affect you, right? Because they would start ignoring problems with their dogs, because they just think that their dogs are so good that nothing can go wrong, or that their breeding practice is so good that nothing can go wrong. And you know what? There is no breeder on this planet who can have 100% perfect result in a sustained manner. It's not possible. That's when you have a litter, certain dogs have certain traits, and other dogs have certain traits. Some dogs are really healthy, some dogs are not that healthy. Some pups are not that healthy, and problems can happen, and that's where the breeder has to take certain hard calls if he's grounded. But if a breeder is not grounded, then he'll never believe. So tomorrow, if that breeder gives a pup to you, you get a pup from that breeder who says he's got the best breeding stock, who's got the best breeding practices, blah 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 blah. If that pup has a health issue, then he's going to put the onus on you. You say, you know what? You didn't bring the pup up properly. Look at the other pups I've given. They don't have an issue. They don't have a problem. And look at my track record. Look at what people are saying. And people, many people, if they get a pup and if they go gaga about a lot of breeders, which is wrong in my eyes. Anyway, that's perhaps for a different video. But the point is, then you are sort of singled out, and then you start believing that, yeah, maybe it's me. I didn't take care of the pup properly, and so you will have all those issues coming up. End of the day, if you'll have to deal with it, and the breeder is going to take his hands off completely. So such issues and many other issues can come over from a breeder who thinks he's the best in the business. So that's a red flag. Best avoided. Fifth, a breeder who does not believe in papers. Oh yeah, I had a breeder who was so full of it. He basically thought he didn't even he thought even speaking to someone who was not very serious, and according to breeders, who is not serious is a person who asks a lot of questions. Basically, what some of these breeders want is you pick up the call and you say you have puppies. They share you some pics, and then you say, okay, how much, and they tell you how much. And now once they've given you the price, they expect you to buy the pup. No more questions to be asked. If you're going to ask any more questions after they've given you the price, then it means you're wasting their time. That's really sad. Anyway, but so I had this breeder who was very agitated. I was asking him questions about papers, and he's basically said, you know what, I don't believe in papers. I don't believe in all these canine clubs, and they are frauds, and they are basically scam artists and whatnot. And but if you still want papers, you know what, you have to pay me so much extra. That doesn't make any sense, really, does it? So you have a guy who does not believe in papers. That's okay. That's up to him. And then he says, you know what, but I'll get you the papers if you pay me X amount extra. That's bullshit. You either have papers or you don't have papers. You will either offer papers or you won't offer papers. It's that simple, right? But if you want to offer papers for an extra premium, that's bullshit. That's a red flag right there. Stay away. I mean, it's like this, man. Everybody knows, our education system is just not right for the times we live in. Correct? This is an education system based on the Industrial Revolution. 150, 200 years ago, and and a lot of educational practices aren't right. Fine, everybody knows it, but still, you'd rather have a schooling and a college degree certificate than not have one, right? So you may think it's a sham, but it's better to have than not have. Correct? So it's the same thing, man. So it's better to have papers than not have, even if you think they are a sham, right? But if anybody says that, you know what, I don't believe in papers, I don't give papers, but if you pay me extra, I'm going to get you papers, well then, stay away. That's a red flag. See you in part 2.